We've given you fused together heroes, but what if we hot glued some villains together? I'm Adam Andrews, this is Top 10 Nerd, and let's talk about the top 10 supervillain fusions we want to see. Number 10, Ulysses Klaw and the Orb. No one asked for this, and no, I'm sure no one else wants to see this on the screen other than me, but you know what? I do. Okay? Ulysses Klaw and the Orb generally have nothing to do with each other in the comics, but in Warp World, they are combined together to create Ulysses Klorb. Now, the Orb as a villain has the key feature of having an entire eyeball as a head. So, naturally, when combined with the sound-based attacks of Ulysses Klaw, this giant eyeball would be replaced with a giant ear. It is actually kind of terrifying. We have had Ulysses Klaw in the MCU already. Now, all we need is the Orb and a reason for them to fuse, and boom, the hilarious Ulysses Klorb. Number 9, Bizzaro and Carnage. A homicidal alien symbiote mixed with the wacky, almost scary reverse logic of Bizzaro. Bizzarnage came to being in Project Cadmus's attempt to synthetically replicate alien DNA. Kind of like how Lex Luthor tried to replicate Superman to create Bizzaro. Bizzarnage, while also being incredibly strong and durable like Bizzaro, has the symbiotic ability to graft himself onto a human host, and he calls it Bizzarnagizing. Isn't that great? Bizzarnage actually Bizzarnagized itself onto the Amalgam universe's Johnny Storm, which is interesting to say the least, considering his fire powers. It then ran amok in the lab it was created in until Spider-Boy, a mix of Spider-Man and Superboy, intervened to stop it, or him, or whatever you want to call it. On top of his grafting, Bizzarnage's elastic alien body allows him to easily avoid most direct attacks, and be somewhat resistant to those attacks he can't avoid. Bizzarnage's intelligence is quite high, surprising compared to the real Bizzaro, but it's his cunning that makes him an unpredictable and nearly unstoppable foe. Number 8, Norman Osborn and Carnage. After Spider-Man gave him the antidote that rid him of his powers but also prevented him from using the Goblin formula to restore them, Norman Osborn traveled to the Temple with No Name to learn how to become a magic user. But the keepers of the temple deemed him to be too villainous and evicted him instead. He tried to break into the Sanctum Sanctorum, but obviously that failed as well. Lastly, Norman had two of his henchmen steal the Carnage symbiote from where it was being stored. Osborn quickly bonded with it to become the new Carnage, and the two were actually an almost perfect match, making Norman Osborn one of the few people to successfully bond with the violent symbiote. After making the symbiote restore his facial features and eject the nanites from his body that prevented him from regaining his powers, Osborn decided to use the Goblin formula to become a Goblin symbiote hybrid called the Red Goblin. It was truly villainous and very, very awesome. Number 7, Galactus and Brainiac. Marvel's Galactus and DC's Brainiac is not an amalgamation I would like to encounter. The idea of Galactus is terrifying if it were transferred to reality, and Brainiac has been one of the most relentless villains ever. So, when they're merged together to form Galactiac, 1, they have a great name, but 2, it's a little scary. Galactiac is the ultimate synthesis between mind and machine. He travels the universe draining the energy of the planets to recharge his energy cells and is nearly omnipotent. Interestingly, kind of like Brainiac shrinking things down and keeping them, Galactiac keeps a small piece of each planet he destroys for further study. He came to Earth to attempt to steal its energies and keep New York City for his study, but the challengers of the Fantastic attempted to stop him. Unfortunately, Galactiac turned their own Ben Rocky Grimm against them, transforming him into the Four-Armed Thing. Luckily for them, with the help of Uatu the Guardian, Galactiac was defeated. Number 6, Dr. Doom and Doc Ock. In Devil's Reign Superior 4, we see one of the most powerful versions of Dr. Doom ever, who also happens to be combined with Dr. Octopus, and to throw in a mostly good guy to round it all out, he's also fused together with Doctor Strange to create the awesome Otto Von Strange. This fusion from Earth 8968 has become Sorcerer Supreme, and he is able to subdue Wolverine Octopus, Ghost Rider Octopus, Hulk Octopus, and the 616 version of Doc Ock. So, in other words, he is easily able to best 3 of the strongest Marvel heroes at the same time that are also also Doc Ock in their respective universes. He has total command of the forces of magic and better control over his mechanical arms than the original Otto does. He can manipulate the multiverse, communicating and casting spells over different realities, and can even pull the other Ottos to his own Earth with a simple gesture. By his own boasting, he has apparently liquefied Shumagorath, had Dormammu's, as in multiple of them, grovel at his feet, and burned Null to ash. Now in case you forgot, those are all cosmic level threats. Number 5. Joker and Sabertooth. When you put together Wolverine and Batman to create Darkclaw, it is incredibly fitting that those characters' most notorious villains, Sabertooth and the Joker respectively, would also become fused together to form Creed H. Quinn, the cackling canine, also known as Hyena. Creed survived the Project X experiments, in which the indestructible metal known as adamantium was bonded to Creed's skeleton and he was given claws made of the same substance. Unlike Darkclaw, Quinn became a remorseless killing machine, exactly what the project was hoping for. But what they didn't hope for was that Creed's sanity did not fare as well. Creed was physically deformed as a result of the experiment. He went terribly insane and eventually went rogue. Project X also triggered meta-mutant abilities inside of Creed, who became known as Hyena. So just imagine the Joker, but about like 20 times more feral with adamantium claws and a skeleton, and you'll understand exactly why this needs to happen. Number 4. Lex Luthor and the Joker. If you haven't read Dark Knights of Steel, well, good golly, Miss Smalley, get to it, nerd! If you don't want a spoiler, just skip ahead. But when Jor-El and Lara crash landed on Earth and saved the Wayne Kingdom, they exposed the treachery of Alexander Luthor, the Wayne's family advisor. Luthor had purposely ignored the warning that Jor-El tried to give him about the Wayne's Kingdom's volcano erupting, and it nearly cost everyone their lives. When Jor-El and Lara stopped the volcano and earned the Wayne's trust, Luthor went into exile, but found a Green Lantern ring that completely corrupted him. He ends up causing the passing of Bruce Wayne's parents as the Els and Waynes are traveling one day in 2 carriages. The one containing the Waynes is incinerated by a green energy blast, and the attacker is revealed to be the Green Man, who is basically medieval Lex Luthor driven Joker crazy with the hair and the smile and the laughter by the power of a Green Lantern ring. It's absolutely nuts, but also kind of incredible and is totally doable. Just saying. Number 3. Dr. Doom and Doomsday. Dr. Doom was a Cadmus scientist investigating the alien known as Doomsday when Victor ended up being fused with the DNA of the monstrous alien when a bone fragment from the monster exploded in his face. The swiftly replicated DNA of the warlike monster transformed the handsome genius into an amalgamated version of Dr. Doom and Doomsday. He then ran off to the Balkan nation of Latkovia, where he became known as Dr. Doomsday, a genius in the body of a practically indestructible monster. Dr. Doomsday is noted as being one of the most powerful villains in the Amalgam universe. He's also noted for working with Thanos in exchange for more power, which definitely fits Dr. Doom's MO. Dr. Doomsday's abilities, surprisingly, include a combination of both Dr. Doom's and Doomsday's. Number 2. All of the Sinister Six. In The Amazing Spider-Man issue 900 in legacy numbering, a somewhat familiar villain has captured all the members of the Sinister Six and combined all of their powers together to create a brand new villain called Sinister Adaptoid. Now, I haven't been able to actually read this issue yet as it is relatively new, but the Sinister Six Adaptoid will showcase the powers of all the members of the Sinister Six at the same time. So that's the wings of Vulture, Dr. Octopus's tentacles, Sandman's sand abilities, Electro's lightning, illusions of Mysterio, and Kraven's super strength. The Sinister Six is an incredibly threatening team against the web-swinging hero when they are separated and disjointed, but together as one super villain, the Sinister Adaptoid is likely to be an incredibly fearsome foe. I personally can't wait to read this, but we have had a Sinister Six team in the MCU, sort of. So imagine all those characters fused into one. And coming in at number 1 is Thanos and Darkseid. Thanos is one of the 2 most dangerous villains in the Amalgam universe alongside Dr. Doomsday from point number 3. He is the absolute ruler of the realm of Apocalypse, and in case you hadn't figured it out yet, Thanos is the fused combination of both Thanos and Darkseid, and has so many things going for him. Great resources and the combined strength, intelligence, powers, and stamina of Darkseid and Thanos. But arguably his greatest weapon is his command over the Omega Effect. His main life goals include annihilation of everything, absolute power, and the love and admiration of Lady Death. How lovely. To these ends, he seeks out the ultimate anti-life nullifier and will stop at nothing to get it. Two of the greatest, most powerful, unrelenting, and formidable villains in both Marvel and DC's worlds put in a mixer and mashed up into one ultimate villain. And with that, this video is coming to a close, but the day and or night is still young, dear friends. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here at Top 10 Nerd for more awesome videos just like this one. For now though, I've been your host Adam Andrews. You can find my socials down below, and until next time, peace out, you beautiful nerds.